We have one drop of oil already down beneath the engine. I'm hoping that that is due to just oil that is warming up now and dropping off. I mean, see how much it uses? It's just nuts. I mean, I didn't fill it all the way up, but we were only motoring for like 4 hours maybe. Oh, this is new. Oh, that's not good. I'm here with Thomas, who's helping me get out of here. Tell me when you need to go down. All right, we need to go down now. It's just a piece of thin plywood, just, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch or something. And I made some calculations for the sides of a Dorade box that I'll make. And so I'm going to cut this out. This is for our second one. I'll cut these two out. I'm going to omit that and cut these two out. These will be the ends of the box. These will be the sides of the box. This is the top of the box. And I just guesstimated on size, but I will cut it out, glue it together, see if the size is going to work, and then bring it up to the boat, and I'll eventually fiberglass it so it's nice and strong, and cut holes in the top, or a hole in the top rather, for the inlet vent. Well, it's been a long time since I was messing with this. This is a very old, well-used bilge pump. It's a Rule 1500 that I took apart. It wasn't working. This is, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that, maybe more. The wires were corroded, so I opened up the motor body. I replaced the wires with marine grade wire from Anchor, and what I found, however, though, was I couldn't get this back in through this little hole here. Obviously, this is going to try to prevent water ingress into the body. But the sheathing of the marine grade wire is much thicker than the common wire that they had, that they were using from the factory. And so it expanded this, and it made this virtually impossible to get through here. Just recently I was moving things around, and these pumps aren't crazy expensive, but it's probably 80 or 100 bucks for a replacement of these, and this device now works. So if I can get this back in and have it relatively sealed, I can have a backup. It was this wider area right here that I had such a hard time with. The lighting is not great, but I had to get over this and then into this little narrower section where it would basically slot in and fit in the hole, and then create a seal of some sort. But it was, again, with the thickened wires, it was so tight I started ripping this little sleeve over here. It tore, so I didn't want to force it anymore. But what I decided to do, because this has expanded necessarily with these new wires, I'm just going to go ahead and try to open this up just a little bit more to see if I can get that through without causing real problems. I'll probably have to use some sort of other, like a polysulfide or polyurethane rather, to seal that as well. Okay, I've got that reamed out just a little bit, not too much. I don't know if you can barely even tell. On here I've got a little bit of water and some soap, so let's see if I can. Like, it's much closer than it was in the past, but it's still, I don't know if you could see that or not, but it's still ripping. I mean, well, it's already ripping, but I just don't know how we're gonna get it through otherwise. Okay, this time around I moved that sealing grommet up or down the wires a little bit toward the end so I can maybe get my hand back in here. And then with a little bit of a soap or a little bit of liquid here along these, I could pull those lines through that, I'm hoping. It's super hard to get my hand in there. And there it is. Okay, that just came through. Oh yeah, they're going through. Okay, well, I think that's about it. A little bit of play there, not too much. All right, and we'll plop this on. I think what I'll do is I'll probably take this back off again to seal that again with some polyurethane sealant of some sort. And just to confirm it's working, I got a 12-volt power supply. Oh, it's not working. I think the problem was that I had the current limited on this power supply. Okay, let's try this again. I get the housing back on. Good morning. I'm finally back at the boat. It's been a long while. I've been accumulating a lot of components, but this weekend I've got 2 full days to try to get the engine in place, reconnected to the output shaft, electrics reconnected, and I won't go so far as to say up and running this weekend, but we'll see. The first thing really is to align it with the output shaft and reconnect it there, and once I've got that, I think things will start falling into place. So let's get going. Okay, I think that's got it now. So into the cockpit, and then you take that turn back there and you got the back of the engine. And I got a little bit of room to work with, but not much. And we'll try to get that coupling right there lined up. Let's see what we can do. Okay, well, I wait for my headlamps to charge. One's got dead batteries and is corroded, and the other one is discharged completely. So I'll wait for that to recharge. But let's go down below, see if we can see how far off the 2 coupling pieces are, and see what it would take to get those back together and aligned. Okay, here we're at. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, yeah, I need light down here. I'm sorry you can't. They're really close, actually. Let's see if we can just push this engine over. I mean, they're distant, but not by much. I don't know if this isn't gonna come out so much, but I'm gonna move the engine rearward and push it over to starboard a little bit, which I just did with my hand. Honestly, that's not bad at all. So let's get this light on it. And I'm gonna go forward and see if I can push the whole engine rearward. It's like 1/4 of an inch. And we'll start from there. Essentially what I suspect I'll be doing today is going in and out of the cockpit locker and then down into the cabin. So basically just back and forth, trying to wrangle the engine where I need it to be. I have to get the mounts to move here, so needed a 1/4 inch, so it might be right there now. Okay, well, the headlamp I thought was going to be going okay, it's not. Yeah, it really does look good. My concern here, so I don't have my glasses on. Let's see if you can see that. Anyways, I got it closed up. It's still about 3/16 of an inch or so. I don't know if I can. I must be able to draw this in to some extent. I don't know how this is going to go exactly, but the idea is to get them super close and then to use a feeler gauge, right? And I understand that, but unfortunately these mating surfaces are just so rough. I did not consider that. They're still a ways off, but I think they could be drawn in, I suspect, but I'm not sure about that either. While I'm waiting for my headlamp to charge here this morning, let's see if I can find a solution for sealing this up against water intrusion. Okay, so this is not flush. I was kind of hoping that this was kind of back a little bit. It's not flush. However, all of this, well, it's got these rivets here. So maybe I could take this plate off and just have the back here. I guess it's not as poorly sealed as I guess I was thinking it was. Like all that hoopla, I mean, it's not great. There's a tiny little gasket back here of like vinyl or something like that. But there are gaping holes like right here. Let's see if I can get you in there a little bit more. So that these little tabs right here, that's a hole straight through there too on the other side. So let me find out where these rivets go. I don't recall. All right, so these rivets hold the entire rear mechanism to this plate, and this plate then is screwed into the fiberglass. This wouldn't be so bad, but it's shaped specifically to hold that plastic molding. With the handle on and the vanity plate off, between the inside of this ring and some of these tabs, I've got nearly a 1/4 inch. If I could form a piece of fiberglass to go over this instead of the plate, then I can bond it on here, or use butyl tape or something like that, so that it'll be on. Let me think about this. Okay, that's a little bit better to see. Right, so still got a gap there, but it really is lining up pretty well. I wonder if I should just I mean, I use the same mounts. Yeah, I'm trying to convince myself of these things. It's just a bad idea. But I mean, I'm not going to get, I was thinking I'd come in here with a feeler gauge and go through that process. But I don't, I mean, these couplings are so rough as is. Just don't think I'm going to get a feeler gauge with any kind of sensitivity in there. So I wonder if I should just run those bolts back through and see what happens. See what happens. That's a really bad idea. This thing really is. Should probably replace that. Now I get a, this is going to have to be cut off if I ever take it off. That's going to have to be cut. And I do want to replace, I do want to get in here and manipulate the stuffing box here and here, but that's going to happen in a yard, not here in the water. I was wondering where that rust was coming from. Well, now I know. I need to get some rust inhibitor on here. Alright, well, I think I might just go ahead and do that and just start bringing those in together and just to see what happens exactly. As we get them a little closer, see if the shaft kind of pulls out a little bit. I think it will, or the engine doesn't seem like it wants to come back much more. But it was together at one time and it still seemed like it's aligned, so. I'm gonna clean up some of these. They're not corroded, but they have corrosion on them, so clean them up and I think they'll be okay. Shit. What you can see, but I got some metal-free anti-seize. Put these on this bolts here just to get these started. Well, there's always the possibility I really screwed it up, but it's together. I can turn it by hand. Alright, I can turn the whole shaft by hand. I'm sorry to be bumping you. I don't think it's not binding up anywhere. So I think we're okay here. I'm gonna go around and cinch down the cinch down the bolts. These the bolts for the mounts aren't even turned in, so that way this has ultimate adjustment, and I think that's okay. And then I'll turn these down as well and make sure that those are all snug. Probably missing something, but I just have to keep an eye on it. Certainly the first few times I take it out and so forth. Anyways, that's we'll see. All right, now that the rear flange is together, these, like I said, are all loose. These are all loose. These were all loose. I'm going around and bolting these down or tightening these down. And then once these are all down, I'll look at the electrical a little bit more, and along with the hoses. But the hoses, I think I can do those last. The starter will have to go in, and a lot of these connections are for the starter. There's the major grounds back here to the battery. I'll have to spruce up a connection back there so they get a good connection to the engine. And then there's some of the wiring harness here, some of the sensor wires, like right there, and then to the hoses. Well, the wet exhaust is going to go back there, but then the hoses. And anyways, right now let's go ahead and get these tightened down. Get this. It's been a nice time painting this, but I gotta clean it off. I'm gonna clean it off so I have a ground right here. Okay, so let's see, we'll test this to the negative bus bar over here. And we've got 0. So from the foot to the bus bar, 0. And then up here as well, 0 ohms. Okay, that's good. Let's turn off the electric, turn off the battery, and start messing with the electrical, the alternator, the starter. Starter first, it looks like. The alternator, or the starter. Simple. So far simple. I had some problems with the threads of these screws here at one point. So we'll see what happens there. But We'll just start them by hand. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. The mating surface was painted. I probably totally messed that up, but we'll run these in and then check electrically and see what happens here. See how it's feeling. Okay, I'm messing with the electricals here with the starter primarily. And I came across this as the major starting here. I don't know if you could see that. Let's see if I can get... so there's basically one strand of wire left in there. I've got plenty of extra. They coiled it up real nice for me, but I've got to cut that back and recrimp it. I can't use it like that. Okay, well, I was looking at crimpers. I don't have a crimper. And I thought maybe I'd go out and go to some place to find a crimper. And then I thought, oh, that is probably not appropriate wire for the boat, and it's not. It's like household interior. I mean, maybe industrial interior, but not boat interior. I thought, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and replace that. It's just a run down to the batteries, but it's not. It's a run out here toward the batteries around in the cockpit locker out there, and then but then it comes back and it's connected to the back. I suspect, I didn't look, connected to the back of this switch. And I don't, the boat hasn't been out of the slip in 1.5 years. And I don't want to do or get involved with a completely rewiring. Now, it needs to be done. There's a reason why it broke, and it broke because it's not intended for the vibrations in a boat. But because I've got extra work with right here, and because I want to get this boat out of the slip, I'm just going to go see if I can get a replacement eye terminal and a crimper of some sort that will help me take care of that. Not ideal, I know. It's just going to have to be another time. So I go back to the store for the second time today, which is okay. The day's going a lot faster. A lot more progress today than I expected. This is the wire that was in there. It's 7 strands. It is just like household, office, industrial, not marine grade, as I said. I guess I'm gonna go see if I can get the same wire gauge. I don't know what that is. Get a crimper. I need wire. I need an eye terminal. I need a crimper. Actually, I guess I do. So I guess I'm thinking I will maybe just open this up and do it. It hurts me to think about that, but I am ahead of schedule. Let me open this up and find out.